All right, everybody, we're cheering on Jared's day. Let's go, let's go. I think today's day 18th. Are you excited about that today? Hell yeah, let's go. It's Friday, okay? I got my party shirt on. This is the shirt I wear when I go party, go to Hawaii, have a good time, you know. All them Hawaii stories yesterday got me all excited, all nostalgic about it. You know what I mean? I was like, oh man, I got so many great Hawaii stories. One of the times I was in Hawaii and I had bought myself like all kinds of mangoes and papayas and all kinds of coconuts, and I tried to get on the plane with them. They told me, hell no, you can't take those. So I had to run outside and I had to eat a whole box of mangoes. I ate it, you know, crack open a couple coconuts, eat as many papayas with lemon on them as I could. And if you ain't had papaya with lemon, man, you missing out, because papaya with lemon is the fucking awesome. Papaya without lemon, nah, not that good. Not that good. Papaya with lemon, wow, okay? Now we are talking. That's like when you discover girls with boobs. Wow, okay? Anyway, how you doing today? What's going on? Today's Friday. We're going to have a good time today, okay? We're going to be pumped. Are you pumped today? Check in with yourself. Are you excited? Are you stoked? Are you got something to be stoked about this weekend? Got to be stoked about it this weekend. Let me go ahead and turn on my other camera real quick. What do you got stoked? What do you got cooking up? Huh? I'm cooking up something this weekend. Sunday Funday is going to be a banger. We got a good live tomorrow that I'm going to chit chat about. Hey, on the Saturdays I try to chit chat about things that nobody else talks about. You know, deep conversation, fun conversation, stuff to make you really think, that I think about when I'm all by myself working on my artwork and thinking about the world. You know what I mean? That happens. And you start wondering about things, and you got to get in there and figure it out, you know? And you got to watch all these YouTubes and compress all that information into some kind of usable wisdom and pattern and trend and try to figure out the world. Because when you figure out the world, you're able to write better stories, you're able to move around better, get what you want, be happier, avoid stupid stuff that you don't want to have nothing to do with, okay? So what are you excited about, all right? Be excited about something. You got your critical eye locked down in the hole, because keep that motherfucker locked up. Keep him locked up. You know, don't let him out. Impulse control until it's time, all right? He only gets out for small jobs. He's like an assassin. Comes out, does the job, put him back in the hole. That's how it works. Then how's your schedule doing? You got your schedule on track? I know all this stuff probably don't seem fun at all, right? It don't seem fun. But it is fun. It's an escape, okay? And number two, there's a payoff. There is a payoff. And when you get that payoff, it is so fulfilling that it becomes the addicting component to draw you back to do it over and over and over and over again. Okay? And then once you do it, you get the payoff a couple times, there ain't nothing like it. You can't be persuaded any other way, because it's so different every time, but it's the same. I don't know how to quite put it. Every time you write a story, you're writing a story, but it's different every time. Your mind goes somewhere. Every time you do a drawing, it's ink on paper, it's pencil on paper, but it's something different. Your mind goes somewhere else. You channel it through. You try to find a audience that it resonates with. Now that's a challenge. That can be a challenge. Don't get me wrong. And I'm trying to find a good audience here to resonate with. You know, hell, nobody wants to stay after class and do math. You know, do times tables, do long division. You know, but the best engineers do that. They go on to create things that run across the sky and down in the deepest part of the ocean and all kinds of stuff like that. You know, their world is different than the average person's world, who just uses a cell phone and has no idea how it even works. Goes and goes on stoplights and has no idea how the stoplights even work or why they do what they do or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or even going through a drive-through at a fast food restaurant, has no idea how the electronic components communicate with each other so that when they're out there in their car, they don't have to get their lazy ass out and go inside and order their food. You know what I mean? Think about that. Which kind of person do you want to be? You want to be a consumer, or do you want to be a producer, a creative person? Now, I know you're here, right? So you're a producer. You are. The other thing I forgot to tell you about consumers is that they're slaves. They're slaves to the producers. Consumers are slaves to the producers. They just are. That's just how it is. And that's really interesting, though. Okay. Now, what are we going to talk about today? All right. Now, the past couple of days or whatever, we've had a really good time. We've used our cards. We've written paragraphs. We've talked about the 3-beat process, the fractal, the 1, 2, 3, beginning, middle, end. You know, hey, how you doing? What are you up to? Goodbye. You know, that kind of communication protocol. And we've talked about hooks yesterday. Okay, we talked about hooks. Hooks are important. Hooks are the cocaine of the party, right? That's what gets you at the party, the hook. Okay, now, going forward, tomorrow and Sunday, I want you to write a story. I want you to write a fresh story, okay? A new story, right? And of course it could be a story with it's supposed to be with your memories, your history, all of that kind of stuff, but try to stretch it out. If you haven't written a story that's 1 or 2 pages, try to do that. Go for 1 or 2 pages. You don't have to share it with anybody, or you can share it. Go on our Discord, all right? Join the Discord, post it in our writing room, okay? Our writing room this next week is going to start to get hot and heavy because that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to do the competition. And I'm probably going to read some of the stories on the video, you know, and we're going to talk about it. And I won't say who it is, of course, unless they want me to say who it is, all right? Now, everything we're going to do is going to be for, you know, constructive edification kind of things. And, man, you know, I'm shy with those words because I grew up in the church and I hear them damn words all the time. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Edification, what? Encouragement, what? But, you know, there are good components to those words, and that's what we're going to talk about. Because, like I said, there's 2 types of knowledge. Keep this in mind, people. There's the knowledge that you learn cognitively. Then there's the procedural knowledge that you actually have to go through the process 3 or 4 to 5 to 6 times before you got that thing down, right? Because when I say, hey, sit down and write me a great story, that makes a lot of sense. I'll just go ahead, sit down, make a story, make sure it's great, and give it to you. Okay, good, now do it, right? There's a big difference between those 2 things, all right? And we're at that point now where I've given you a whole bunch of information, and you're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to struggle a little bit. You're going to have to actually put pen to paper, jump off that ledge, and make it happen, okay? That's where you learn how to fly. Now, you're going to fall a couple times. I'm telling you right up front, you know, be used to it. And that falling is part of your badge of honor to earn your way into the group, okay? Not the group here, but the group of creative humans, right? Everybody who's creative, we all learn this. We all learn that, hell, we skin our knees, we get black eyes, we break arms, we do all that stuff in the process of learning how to be creative. But through that process, we gain an understanding and a responsibility for the craft that we're wielding, for the power that we wield. And we also gain a mantle of defense. You know, it's upon us to defend what is quality and what is not quality. Because there's a whole shit ton of people that are going to run out there and try to shortcut this and try to just use projection to create wooden nickels that they're going to call stories. That it's just propaganda, it's just projection, it's just a way to separate a fool from his money. Okay, there's plenty of fools out there, but that's not what we're about. We might be about money a little bit because you need money to live, you need money to be able to create, sure. But we're about making the genuine article. You know, we're about making the realistic story, the powerful story about creativity. And the reason why we're all about it is because we want to strengthen our creative faculties. It's not even really about the story. It's about going through the process to strengthen who we are as creative individuals. That's what it's really about, okay? The story is just a reflection to us about how strong are our creative faculties And how good do we have our process together? You hear me? You know, you got that J.R.R. Martin, or I think it's just R.R. Martin. Maybe it's the J in there. I don't remember. But, you know, he does that Game of Thrones of Fire and Ice or whatever. And he's been writing that thing for like 15 years, right? And he keeps saying, oh, I got something else. I got something else. I got something else. I got something else. And he's not writing it. And from a creative standpoint, I could tell he's bankrupt. He's creatively bankrupt. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means he wrote the first book or the first half of the book that they made in the Game of Thrones, and it had such a spectacular financial success and so much of a social success that he got, you know, pedestalized and rewarded and worshipped, that he is paralyzed to move forward because he doesn't think that he can recreate that, and he's afraid that he's going to tumble and fall from his pedestal now. So he'd rather go disappear. So what has happened is his focus has shifted from the work itself to the reaction to the work. And as soon as that happens, you're toast, bro. You're done. Because now you don't know how to make people happy. You know, it's a lot like when you're dealing with a woman. You know, I hate to say it like this. Or you're thinking about a date for a woman. All right. Now, a woman's got a lot of opinions about dates. A lot of opinions. She ain't going to give you one of them. Okay? She's got a lot of opinions, right? But they only come out after. Well, why'd you take me here? Well, you don't know. You know I don't like fish. Well, I can't eat ice cream. It makes me incontinent. Bitch, why didn't you tell me where you wanted to go? Well, why don't you know me? How come you don't know me? You know, and that's the way it is, right? But if instead of trying to please her, you just become a man who wants to make a fantastic evening, and you take her along for the ride, there you go. Now you got something, right? First, you're going to take her by the bar that you've got friends at, right? Because you want to go by there and say hi to them anyway. And you know when you go by there, they're all going to say hey to you and all this kind of stuff and make you look good when you're at the bar, and they're going to give you the whatever, give you good attention. She's like, oh, this guy, he has got a little bit of you know, class, a little bit of following here. He must be a little bit of somebody, right? Then you take her to the fucking restaurant that you take every date to every Friday night. They all know you there because you take all the girls there. You know, she don't know this, but you take all the girls there. That's your first date routine, right? You got it locked down. And then you go there and then you say, hey, good to see you, Mr. Ray, blah, blah. Oh, they pull the chair out. Oh, Mr. Ray, do you want your normal table? Oh, wow, he must come here all the time. She thinks he's a socialite. He's a man about town, as my grandparents used to say, and all that stuff, right? And then you go out and you know, after dinner, you finish it up with a hot chocolate or coffee or a nightcap or, you know, ice cream, and you're walking on the pier on the ocean, and you bring your flask of tequila or whatever. You take a shot. She takes a shot. Oh, this guy, he's you know, now she's like all discombobulated because she don't know what's gonna happen next. You got the ice cream coming out, the tequila, you got the sunset on the fucking pier, and it's all romantic, and you know she's got all her buttons done been pushed, right? Right? Maybe she didn't even touch her food because you know women are like that, right? As soon as they know they want to fuck you, they, you know, all of a sudden they don't eat a lot and they don't fart, and, you know, they make sure all their areas are shaved, and they put the, you know, the fragrance in the right places, and they keep their hair just so, because they have this grand image of them laying, you know, reclined on the chase, you know, as you pump away, and they're looking beautiful, like in some sort of romance novel cover, and that's what they're thinking about, right? Oh, when he's fucking me, I want to make sure that I look, you know, classy and regal, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And all the guy's thinking about is like, is she coming yet? Is she going? Damn, this bitch is taking forever. But that's the way it is, right? And that's the kind of story that you want to tell, right? You didn't even know we were telling stories, but then you got swept away in the story. That's what it's all about. I just did to you what the guy did to the woman. He just swept her away. Before you know it, she lost track of time, lost track of what was going on. She was buck naked on the chase, getting pumped. And you were the same way, listening to my story, be like, oh, he's so right. He's so right. He's telling the truth. He's facts, facts, facts. You know, and that's what was going on. But that's what you want to be like, okay? So that's what I want you to do this weekend, okay, people? I want you to go ahead and I want you to write a story. Try to make it 2 pages, 1 page. You could double space, single space, I don't care. Just put forth the effort over the next couple days to make a 1-2 page story, okay? Now, it could be about anything. It could be completely fictional, or it could be about something that happened to you in your past. It could be about whatever. But let's get going on that, all right? And in fact, today, on our little exercise, we're going to do a little thing that I want to call, now I'm trying to think back about what I did. You know, I'm trying to think back about, you know, when you went on a first date. Okay, now let's come on down here and let's take a look at what we're going to do. All right, I got the ravens out there. They're all yelling and hollering. And I got a little sketch I got going on here that I'm working on. I'm working on a whole bunch of these ideas about fragments of society represented in architecture on floating islands in landscape. And the female face represents the society of that time, that era. And the existence of that society is like a personification of society. And it's fragmented because they're memories now. It's been erased. It's been forgotten intentionally, covered up and hidden. But that's what this little sketch is all about. And I'm working on a whole bunch of these, you know, kind of concepts. And I'm going to paint them all up and stuff like that. But I'm excited about that. But, all right, here we go. Here we go. Now I want you to think about, like I said, first of all, take a couple breaths. Relax. We're having a good time here. Everybody's chill. You know, the manipulation of your vehicle, which is your body, is paramount to the ability to create. Okay? I want you to think about that. All right? Now, if you're anxious, you can't create. If you're afraid, you can't create. If you're, you know, thinking about all these things you got to do, you can't create. If you're angry, most of the time you can't create. Now, you can take those emotions and create with those emotions, but you got to process through them first. Okay, go take a walk, do a little workout, whatever you got to do. You got to process through them. You got me? So one of the ways you process through them is what we're doing right now. Sit down, take a deep breath, take a couple deep breaths. You know, you breathe in, hold it for a minute, and then breathe out and push out all that stress. Stretch your body out. Rub your fingers together. Try to imagine what the ridges of your fingerprints feel like as they rub together with your thumb and your index finger, your other fingers, or your palms. Now this is an old acting trick right here. If you didn't know, this is an acting trick. This is what actors do to consume their focus so that if they have to be surprised in a scene, they can actually be surprised. So what they do is they rub their ridges of their fingers together. You might see a lot of them, they might have a pin, and they try to feel what the surface of the pin feels like, and they try to put their imagination and their focus right on the surface of that pin, and they try to rub it and feel it. You'll see it like, there's different actors that do it all the time. You'll see them, they'll be holding something, trying to feel the texture so that they can put their focus in the texture so that when somebody says, hey, Matlock, and he goes, oh, what are you doing? You know, he's actually really surprised or whatever. Or Columbo, and just one more question. Just one more question, please. And that's a legit acting technique, okay? And all it is a control of focus. You control your focus. You see what I mean? That's what it's all about. You just relax. You let the ravens bark and yell outside, and you control your focus. You breathe in, you breathe out, and you relax. Okay? You just relax. All right? You have a good time. You breathe in, and you relax. All right. Now I want you to think about all the way back, or maybe it's recent, or maybe you ain't never had a first date. I hope to God that ain't the truth, people. I hope you done had a first date. All right? Now I want you to think about a first date where you took somebody on a first date. Okay? Think about where you took somebody on a first date. And I want you to draw that place that you took somebody on a first date. Okay? Now it could be like one of your very first dates, or maybe you're married and you're gonna draw where you took your wife on her first date, or your husband on his first date, or where he took you rather, and go ahead and put that together. All right. Now I'm gonna remember my first date, and there's this restaurant right on the ocean, and I forget what the it looked like, but it had these like little windows like so, and then it was right on the ocean. Okay, so there's the wall. Right back here we got the ocean, and it had like a little valet stand right here, and it was a full moon out, and it was I went to the bar, and then the bar did fantastic. You know, I had a good time at the bar, and then we had a good time. And then we went and got something to eat. Said, hey, why don't we just get something to eat? And we grabbed a booth, and that's what we did. Grabbed a booth, at the bar, and then we really hit it off. Had a good time, and they ended up being my girlfriend for a while. And it was fantastic. It was full moon at the middle of the night. And you know, that's why I always say, go to the bar first. Okay, and this was at a place called Poseidon in Del Mar. I think it's still there. You know, you never know. Del Mar, California. You never know how things go after the COVID or whatever, right? So we got this right here. And I used to know the guys up there and all the bartenders, and they were great people. The head bartender's guy, name was Wade. He was a fantastic guy. Super nice guy. And then all the other guys up there, and we had a great time. And every time I went in there, they treated me really great, and I loved it. So, of course, I would take my dates there, right? And then I ended up taking one of the girls, and we ended up, you know, dating for a long time after that, okay? Now I want you to think about that place. Oh, let me go ahead and add a little bit of this right here. I put a P up there. It doesn't have a P up there, but I put a P up there because its name is Poseidon. You know? I don't exactly remember what the facade looked like, but it looked like something like this. And of course, the rest of the restaurant was over here. It was a big restaurant, but you know, I wanted to go ahead and have that little peeky boo through the ocean, with the ocean right there. We had the wall right here. Let me go ahead and fill that in. Now I want you to think about that date night, and I want you to think about how that went, and I want you to think about this day 19. I want you to think about how you felt going up to the date. You know, I was excited. I was hopeful, or you know, optimistic. That's the word. You know, I was optimistic, right? I had a plan. You know, I had a plan, and it was a very good date. It was very good. My plan was great, and I think a lot of women don't realize that when you're dating, a man has to have a plan. Okay, it just doesn't all happen spontaneous, and the man makes it look like it happens spontaneous, but it doesn't. Now we're going to come back up here to one, but it's not spontaneous. The man plans everything out. Makes it seem like it's all spontaneous, that everything is serendipitous and it all happens. But you know what? The guy has planned every square inch of that date out. And if you're a woman and you're married to a man and you guys had a great couple of first dates, you hope the light bulb's going on right now in your brain. You're going to say, hey, I just realized that you planned all that out. Thank you. I'm glad you made it easy for me to fall in love with you. Okay? Maybe you're a man and you planned it all out and it worked. I want you to give yourself a little pat on the back right now, right? Good job, good job. Game recognizes game. I got you right there, dog. You know what I mean? Now, I want you to take, you know, some of these emotions, some of these cards. Maybe it was this one. Maybe write a story about your first date, about how you found the romance of your life, if that ended up happening, or, you know, write a tragedy about how you lost the romance of your life. You know what I'm saying? Use the hooks, use the 3 beats, beginning, middle, end, you know, all of that stuff. And go ahead and write yourself a story, okay? So on Monday, you got a story for me, all right? Because I'm going to be checking on you to make sure you got that story for me, all right? Then we're going to talk some more about it. And this is the part where you got to pull a little bit of weight, okay? We already done babied you enough. I baby bird fed you. Now you got to step up, belly up to the bar and take a shot of that tequila, and let's fucking go. All right, people? So have a great weekend. Come watch my live tomorrow. We're also going to talk to Ben tonight at 4:30 Pacific, so watch that. And then we're going to have a great Sunday Fun Day for you on Sunday, so come watch some of that. Let's go, Jared. Come on now, let's go.